Alright, here I am back with more Wildstar. We're on our way to kill Inventor Whom, and also kill Dominion's security drones. I assume that's all in this cave here. Usually when you go in these caves, they also end up giving you some other mission. Hopefully that's the case as well. I'm kind of short on missions, surprisingly. I would think in previous characters I've done, of course not on this particular zone, I've had, you know, a whole journal full of stuff. But it seems like it's doled out differently in this particular zone, at least for now. Alright, so I've killed security drones. All I need to do is find Whom. Let's see how well we can actually get by people without grinding through the whole instance, and that's interesting. They put a hitbox on that rope where that guy was standing. I wonder if that was intentional or just an oversight, making it basically impossible to do any pathing with leap to that guy. Also seems interesting that they would even bother, because I know having the hitbox requires that every frame they're going to have to check that hitbox to see whether there's any collision, so why would they even bother putting that? I mean, it's purely decorated. It's purely there for decoration. It doesn't serve any other purpose. Whirlwind going.
Challenge begins.
Wonder if I'll end up getting killed here. I do have, of course, a health potion I can use, which is good. Oh, E. I don't like that at all. I don't like the fact that I have to hit a button that is not in my regular rotation. I mean, that's strafe, E, and that's actually not that big a deal. At least we get to see how the respawn works here. So I have a choice. I can either res at the nearest holo, which is, you know, however far away, or I can wake up here and fight. I will probably wake here, and for the time being, try and do this without getting killed again. Of course, they respawn to the guy that I already killed, which kind of sucks, but... And then, of course, those guys come back over, so I'm going to end up getting killed here again, but... Alright, so I'll res back at the holo. Anyway, this is essentially how the resing works in this game. You have a choice. You can either spend money to res, which of course is on a 20-minute cooldown where you are, which is handy, I guess, for raids and stuff, because then you can, you know, if you're the tank and you get killed, you get at least one shot at coming right back up. Although I'm not entirely sure whether it works in instances or not, but for outdoor stuff it will definitely work. And the other thing that happens is you do lose durability on your items, so there is, you know, item durability in this game. So when you die, you do lose more durability on your items, and you have to pay to have them repaired. So it's sort of a double whammy of cost for, you know, the death penalty or whatever we want to call it. I'm actually not a big fan of the necessity for a death penalty, particularly in a game like this, or, you know. In some games it makes sense because, you know, part of the challenge is, you know, trying not to die, like in some sort of platformer or something. But in games like this, I mean, who really cares? They are literally just distractions at best. You know, the game is about wandering around and seeing the zone and learning the lore, not some great, you know, strategy game. And that's nothing that requires amazing skill. It's funny, it seems like the games that require the most skill basically don't have any penalty for, any true penalty at least, for death, you know. Like, I could be playing something like, you know, I Want to Be the Guy or I Want to Be the Boshi, which requires a tremendous amount of skill over time, but death is just a mechanic in those games. Like, you die, is there really any penalty? Yeah, you go back to the beginning of whatever small structured zone that it's in, but, you know, in the end there's no actual true penalty in the game. And that's because it does require skill. Whereas this, that requires significantly less skill, you know, there has to be some sort of death penalty. And of course I realize part of the purpose of the death penalty is not to make the game more challenging, but to actually work as part of the economy of the game. In other words, give you a way to spend money. But I mean, does that really work anyways? I'm only spending a tiny amount anyway. It's always such a small fraction of what you actually have for total funds that it doesn't seem to make any sense, and makes very little difference on the total economy. You know, in a game where you have infinite resources available theoretically because there's a constant respawn, you know, how much is spending a few silver really going to impact anything?
Double kill.
I guess it does add to my total potential playtime, but that's about it.
Double kill.
Alright, so I know that's got a hitbox, so let me try to do it the smart way this time. And I gotta try using kick more. That's another thing I could have done in the last fight to keep myself from getting killed. Alright, so let me try to point out why I don't like those buttons. Hopefully it'll show me one of the ones that illustrates my problem with the way they've set up that whole you know, stun lock mechanic, and it has to do with the arrangement of the buttons in the UI. It's in my opinion really poorly represented. So hopefully they'll give me one that has either Q or E on it so that I can illustrate the fundamental problem with how they're cueing me to use those buttons. Drones, more drones on top of more drones.
Double kill.
Alright. Kick. Looks like it only works on one target, which makes sense, I guess. Alright, hopefully somebody's going to stun lock me here, because I think this is something important to note. Not that anybody important is watching, but I like to record this stuff simply for my own benefit in some level. Alright, so that says E. Now notice the position of the buttons. If you look back at the video, it shows it like a WASD. So in other words, it's showing me the position of the E button in what would typically be the position of the D button. If you think about QWEASD, they should basically be a 2x3 you know, setup of buttons, but they continuously put E and Q in the position that A and D would be, you know, visually on screen, which is confusing as hell because, you know, I've got this thing and I got to hold down the button and press it, and the position of the, you know, I don't really have time to think about whether it's Q or it's E or it's D. I basically work on positionally where the button is representationally in terms of my fingers. You know, that would be the fastest way to do it, and they've basically done it in the worst possible way, in my opinion. It should be, you know, Q and E up at the top aligned with W. So if you show a 2x3 matrix of buttons, then at all times they should be actually in the position where your finger would be when you need to push the button. There it is again. Right? So I'm supposed to press Q, and it's showing me a button above the Q, but that would be like the 2 key, which isn't part of the rotation at all. You know, I don't know who thought that up, or whether it was just an oversight, or, you know, some sort of mistake of some sort. But it's pretty poor in my opinion from an interface standpoint. You know, either that or just make it WASD. You know, does it really have to be something where I press the straight key? You know, do we need 6 full buttons of, you know, different ones that I need to push? You know, is that a necessity of making it, you know, fun to play?
Double kill.
Alright. Trying to make use of kick more often. And there's S. And see, S is in the right place. So I managed to hit that one because that's actually, you know, my finger arrangement on the keyboard. I realize that some people play, you know, using QWE as their main buttons, and all they do is run and strafe and then use the mouse, but, you know, some people don't. So why not just put it in the right place in the first place? And my inventory is full. Gonna have to go back and sell or start getting rid of some stuff. Actually, I might have some stuff that I haven't equipped that I've picked up. Yeah, there's one, and that's a gun I can't use. Lower armor. Yeah, it looks like there isn't too much that I can actually equip. Everything's either suckier than what I had or not useful, and I haven't gotten a new bag. The main issue is I'm still short a bag, and I haven't gotten any upgrades to the ones that I have. Alright, let me kill these security drones. I think this is one of those areas that actually is probably a lot harder than it should be. It's like really dense with people. I mean, with mobs, but it's really light on people at the moment, and so any time that I would have normally spent getting in here is increased because usually there would be less spawn because there'd be other people actually. There you go. There's some of that complexity in the ground targets for dodging. That's kind of cool. And I need X here. It'll be nice when I eventually have some lifesteal in my abilities. Looks like I'm gonna get killed here. Well, as long as he does that. There's where the ground targeting actually helps me out. It's pretty funny. So that guy's locked into basically doing whatever his special move is, which is totally avoidable in every way because all he's doing is firing, you know, straight ahead for a certain amount of time. So it actually ends up saving me rather than being a difficult mechanic because, well, because the mobs are stupid. Alright, it looks like there's something in here, so I'm actually going to try and fight my way into this little corner. This may be a mistake, but no guts, no glory, and gotta do a little bit of exploration. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed there, but I did manage to get a kick in on that guy on the whirlwind. That's a nice little combo. Oh yeah, okay. So this is just part of the quest. The item in there is just for Chua data centers, the little rat guy data centers. That also shows one of the problems with the ground targeting when you're stuck inside little pieces of geometry. There you go. There's the Q thing. Hold Q. Okay. You mean the button that looks like it's A? Okay, so one more. There must be another one around here somewhere. I'm kind of wondering if it's in there. Oh, it is in there. I bet it is in there. Alright, so let me try to go around. Go this way. Looks like the security drones. Are they already attacking? It looks like there's laser beams coming down at me, but I can't. Maybe that's just their ability. No, it is their ability. It's like zapping into them or something. So yeah, he's got a little machine gun move there. Get a little better with the button clicks for sure. So yeah, the other thing is if you do use a kick on the guys, it will interrupt their ground target abilities, so that's another way to avoid that stuff besides dodging, which I think is one of the main mechanics that you would use as a tank. Probably not for boss mobs, because I'm willing to bet they'll be immune to stun, but for regular mobs, it's definitely a tactic you can use, particularly when your damage is probably gimpy and you're trying to level with your tanking abilities.
Double kill.
There we go. Level up. Nice.
Double kill.
This points out another thing that you get in MMOs that you don't usually get in single-player games. You know, I just fought my way all the way in here, and now I have to fight my way all the way out. You know, it sort of breaks the immersion in some ways, and it also creates more of a grind experience, which can be a little tedious. You know, it seemed to me that the best way to get around this, by the fact that, you know, you have to have respawning, obviously. It's not like a single-player game where you can kill everything in the dungeon. You could do instancing, of course, but it seems to me that it would make sense to embrace the idea of having always more than one way in and out of every sort of underground area, so you don't have to do this, you know, grinding your way in and grinding your way out. So by the time I'm done with the mission, I should be at, you know, or very close to a point where I'm going to be able to exit the area. And let me up my defense again. And I did get a tier point, so this is another thing that can show you. It's basically, I'm going to upgrade the thing I use the most. So that's how you basically increase your abilities. You get tiers of these. I believe this is actually part of an exploration quest. I actually think that you have to kind of jump your way through those lasers and get to something inside. But anyways, you upgrade your abilities using those points. I have no idea how many total points you get. I don't know if you can max every ability, or usually it's a rule of about 2/3 or 3/4 of your points. I don't need that anymore. Although I should probably pick it up because it's probably worth more than some of the stuff I have in my bag, but who cares at this point? That'll matter when I'm probably level 30 or 40, but it doesn't make any difference.
Double kill.
Okay. And I gotta get to a merchant. Also, the video's getting a little long, trying to keep these under 20 minutes, and I'm getting at 17 minutes right now. So hopefully I can get out and get back to a merchant, or maybe I'll just get out and end the video, run to a merchant and sell, and then come back in later. Hopefully I can sneak by these guys. Yeah. It's got a mechanic where they'll like sort of like flash, like they see you, but they don't aggro you immediately. It's nice that you can move around with the whirlwind. That's pretty sweet. There's a lot of games that would lock you in place while you're doing that sort of stuff, and that definitely detracts from the experience.
Double kill.
And that's not necessarily going to be an upgrade anyway, so who cares? And I think I can sneak my way around here and probably only have to kill that one guy to get out of this area. Actually, we have a task, wanted, kill Demon Claw, which is a group. The problem is I doubt I'm going to be able to find anybody to help me. I mean, I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but you know, most of the time when I play these games, whenever I have a group mission, because I play odd hours, you know, more often than not, I can't find anybody to help me do those. I've had some good luck, but I also was playing, you know, prime time in previous playthroughs. But I am currently playing at 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time on a Wednesday. So, you know, this actually, usually it's weekends, but it's actually common for me to play in the morning, and there's almost no one else on the server when I play, which isn't good in many ways because, you know, there's not going to be a queue and that minimizes the lag, but it's also bad in other ways because when I want to do that sort of stuff, there's literally no one around to help me. I wish games would adopt, you know, the idea that, you know, there were different ways to complete those missions so that, you know, if you're really forced to be solo, you're not missing, you know, significant and interesting parts of the game simply because you don't have anybody to help you. And I have no idea why I'm running up here, but I saw it and I figured I had to try to get up here just to see. I'll probably end up getting some sort of quest or something later on to go up here, or maybe this is just for explorers, but I did want to just see what's up here. Oh, and I get to see death. No, I didn't. Huh. Oh, it's because I have the Loftite. It must save you from the fall. Interesting. Alright, so I'm going to stop the video there. I'll probably run and sell all my stuff in my bag because I'm just hit 20 minutes. And anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back in a little bit. Thank you.